guys, this is Jacob with the No Easy Buckets YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning into the video. You're about to get into the top 5 best over-under bets for the NBA season, the 2022-2023. Just wanted a quick introduction. This may be the first video you're seeing on the channel, or maybe the first video on the channel, depending on what I upload. But thanks for tuning in. Hopefully there's going to be more content for you to consume soon. I'll have socials and stuff all around, but appreciate any kind of support you give. Please come back and tune in for more videos during the NBA season. Just gonna have fun here, build a community. I hope everybody enjoys it, and I'd love to hear from you and kind of start, talking to people and hearing what they want to see on the channel. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, as I said in the open, we're going to talk about the top 5 over-under bets of the 2022-23 NBA season today. Odds are you're not placing 30 bets on every team, or a bet on every single team to wait 6 months if they cash. Most likely you're going to place a handful of your favorites. So these are mine. Take with that what you will, and go win some money. So top 5 NBA over-under bets for the 2022-23 season. And let's get right into it. So the number one bet that I have on the board right now is the Denver Nuggets, and their total is 49.5. I'm taking over 49.5. Last year, Denver won 48 games, and that was basically without 2 of their stars. Jokic played the whole season, won an MVP again, but Jamal Murray missed the entire season. Michael Porter Jr. missed a huge chunk of it, especially at the end. I think 49.5 is going to be an easy cover for them. They also kind of beefed up their beefed up their team from last year with a lot of additions like Bruce Brown from the Nets, who I really like. I think is going to work well off Jokic, provide a really good be a really good role player. And then with a trade with the Wizards, where they dumped Will Barton and Monty Morris, they got back Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Ish Smith. And I like Caldwell Pope because I think he's going to be a better wing than Barton for them. Barton provided a lot of value, but I think from a spot-up shooting and defense perspective, I think Pope is going to provide more, especially with their stars healthy. He's going to play a better role than Barton. And then Ish Smith just provides a little bit more veteran presence than Monty Morris, even though I really was a Morris fan. He really showed out there. I think he's going to have a good career. I think Ish Smith a little bit better getting to the basket, good mid-range scorer like Monty was, so they're not going to lose that. But I think he's just going to command the offense a little bit better and be able to spot start if Murray has to miss games or anything like that. So, they added a few rookies, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, but they're not going to most likely be contributors this year. I just really like the having their stars back, and if Murray and MPJ can play most of the season, I think this is going to be an easy 50-plus win team. I think they're going to be in the conversation for the number 1 seed with Golden State. And I think that's going to easily be a 50-win team if you're in that conversation. So that brings me to my number 2 team, which is going to be the Golden State Warriors. Number 2 bet, the Golden State Warriors. The number is 51.5, and I'm going to take over that as well for a lot of the same reasons. I think they're going to be in the 1 to 2 seed conversation. It's going to be easy 50 wins. Clay has a full offseason of being healthy, back with Steph. The depth here is going to be a big win for them. James Wiseman, it looks to be healthy and contributing. Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, a year older. They brought in DiVincenzo. They really look like they are going to have a lot more youth and talent to go to on the bench. Not to mention, just a more motivate. Like, this team doesn't seem to lose motivation once they win a title, like some people might. So full faith in Golden State. I thought that the Draymond Green thing might drag out and this would look like an under, but I'm filming this on October 13th, and a couple days ago Steve Kerr said they're just going to find him and he's going to be back this week sometime and not going to miss any games. So I don't think that it's going to be a distraction. A lot of veterans in the locker room. Pretty easy explanation here. Just this team's going to win mid-50s to high 50s. Phoenix was 64 wins last year as the 1 seed. I think Golden State won 53 games last year, or 51 games last year. 53. So I think they're going to be better. So this is an easy one for me. So my number 3 favorite bet is going to be the Utah Jazz, and their total is 24.5, and I'm going to take under 24.5. So the thesis here, as many of you probably know, this may be already on your board, the Jazz dumped all their players. So Donovan Mitchell gone to the Cavs, Rudy Gobert gone to the Timberwolves. They've overhauled their roster, brought in some mediocre role players, Malik Beasley, Taylor Horton-Tucker, all that. Mike Conley's still there. They'll probably trade him if he stays healthy. This team is tanking. Danny Ainge brought in Will Hardy from assistant coach for the Celtics. This seems like probably the easiest bet to me. Maybe should have had them number 1. I just think that it's more fun to predict wins than losses. But a number that I looked up before this was last year, the bottom 5 teams in the league won 25 or fewer games. You always see that. Usually you see a team in the teens. Everybody won at least 20 games last year. So I think that the Jazz are going to be challenging that 18 to 19 win number there. I think they're going to be involved in more transactions this year, whether it's trades or just cutting some guys or packaging them up for like a pick or so for some teams that need some playoff help. A lot of those role guys, I think, will be off the roster. They'll sit guys. They'll play young guys. They'll be working things out. But Danny Ainge is going for the number 1 pick. He's trying to get Wembanyama. He's trying to get Scoot Henderson. He's trying to get one of those guys. I don't think it's going to be anything. I don't think it's going to be a problem here missing that 24.5 number. So number 4, my next favorite bet is going to be the Boston Celtics. 53.5 is their total. I'm going to go under. They won 51 last year as the 1 seed in the East. They added Malcolm Brogdon. You could argue that their depth is a little bit better than it was last year. You could really tell in the playoffs they just didn't have a lot to go to on the bench. But Al Horford's a year older. They brought in Gallinari. He's hurt now, probably going to miss the whole season. Blake Griffin they brought in. Like I said, Malcolm Brogdon, who's always injured. If he stays healthy, they're going to be a solid team. I just still don't think 53.5. They're the highest total on the board. They went to the finals last year. Most likely that's why. But they didn't even win this last year. I think the East is going to be better. I think the distraction of the Ime Udoka situation, I think is going to bloom a little bit there. Was it Joe Mazzulla that's coming in as the assistant coach? He's kind of a bench guy, bench coach. Never really. I don't know that he's ever. Not to say he's going to be bad. I just don't know that he's going to be ready for a team with some personality and that's been through a lot, that probably feels like they've got more experience than him. We'll see what happens with them. I think they're still going to be a solid playoff team, probably maybe even home court advantage, but I just think they're going to be around that 50 number, 49 to 50, than they are 53.5. So I think that's just they're also probably going to try to rest the body. They played a lot of games last year. They're probably going to try to keep guys healthy going into the playoffs, and as long as they have home court, they're probably not going to be worried about it. So I would take Boston under 53.5. And if you hear that garbage truck outside, apologies. So my next favorite is going to be the Toronto Raptors. And that total is going to be 45.5. And I'm going to go over 45.5. So last year, the Raptors, I believe they won 44 games. 48 games. I was confusing them with somebody else. They won 48 last year in a year that people thought they were going to be down. That it's really odd that the number is 45. It's down like basically 3 wins from last year. I was kind of confused at that. And sometimes when you see that, that's when you know that's a number that you want to take. But I mean, they're a well-coached team with Nick Nurse. They added, some, Otto Porter Jr. is probably the best one. Juancho Hernangomez, movie star. They're still a really solid young team. Scotty Barnes is going to be in his second year. OG Anunoby, if he can stay healthy, another year. Fred VanVleet. Pascal Siakam ended up making an All-NBA team after starting slow. To me, it's an easy 45.5 wins. The East is going to be better, definitely overall. You're going to have a better Bucks team. You're going to have a better Sixers team. The Nets probably will have more wins, but I think Toronto's going to be right there with them. They're a bad matchup for most every team. They just play hard, and they're one of those, especially at home too. They're going to have hopefully their fans in there for the home games this year, fully stacked in there. I think they're an easy. I mean, they're just too good of a team, too good of a organization to drop this many wins when I think that they got better from a talent perspective. To me, the number just looks weird. I would take over 45.5 and just have fun with it. I think they're going to be in the conversation for top 4, probably right there. At least they finished in the 5th seed last year, so I just have a hard time seeing them getting. Let's see, the teams behind them that I think could jump them this year. The only team that behind them last year that could potentially jump them is the Nets, who we know why they won 44 wins and had 44 wins and didn't finish higher. That's the only team I can see finishing higher, and I think that the Raptors are going to be right there around where they were last year, and maybe even more wins. So 45.5 is going to be the take there. So quick recap: Denver over 49.5, Golden State over 51.5, Utah under 24.5, Celtics under 53.5, and the Toronto Raptors over 45.5. Those are my top 5 bets, over/under bets for the NBA season, and hope you place them and bet responsibly and have some fun. And hopefully you tune into the next video. Thanks.